Colter Levinson. I'm the Assistant Jail Administrator at the Moines County Jail in Burlington. It's over there by, kind of behind Carpet Land. If you don't know where it is, keep it that way. Started there in 2004 as a, 2004 as a part-timer. 2006 I went full-time. After 2006 I actually joined the Marine Corps. When I got back, just did my short stint there, got my part-time job back in 06. Went full-time a couple months after that. 2009 I got promoted to sergeant. 2015 to my current position. Actually this January I will be moved up to jail administrator. At that time right now we have jail administrator, an assistant jail administrator, and 4 sergeants, and the rest are full-time correctional officers. Total of like 21, I believe, of us. January, we're actually getting rid of the assistant jail administrator. Gonna have the jail administrator, 2 lieutenants, and then 4 sergeants. A little bit about me. Graduated from here in 2002. Looking at the building, a lot of improvements I've seen. I went to SCC, then I went to Western Illinois, and just kind of worked my way up through the ranks at the jail. Look at these questions here. Kind of stayed at the jail. I actually went to Western Illinois to get my bachelor's to work for the Secret Service. Went to Normal, Illinois quite a bit. I don't remember if that's like Northern Illinois or Illinois State, one of them. I trained with them on certain weekends, and then realized that I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go to Beirut at a second's notice for 3 weeks, scout things, and wanted to have a family, go to T-ball games, and not miss that stuff. So I kind of gave up on Secret Service, didn't pick anything else, and just stayed at the jail. Some things I love about the career is, you gotta have a demented sense of humor to actually love corrections. I have seen things that only you guys can make up. I deal with mental illness, violent, kind of deal with everything. The health insurance is probably the most reason why I love this career. Benefits are great, insurance, vacation time. The county really treats you well. Like as a deputy or as a correctional officer, they really value their employees. For example, we got Blue Cross Blue Shield and EBS. For example, my daughter just had SVT episodes with her heart. Went to U of I, got over a $10,000 bill, and my bill to myself at the insurance was $14. So I will continue to work at the Des Moines County Jail until I don't need insurance. How has it affected my life or my family's life? When I actually worked the floor, I worked first shift, I've done second shift, I've done third shift, I've done 3 firsts, 3 thirds, 3 seconds, 3 thirds, because full-time officers work on a 6-day on, 3-day off rotation. I'm Monday through Friday now. When I got off of that and got off of nights, my wife said I wasn't an asshole anymore. So being on nights, you gotta work it to know it. You're always tired, always. You get 12 hours of sleep, go directly into work, and my wife asking me why you tired all the time kind of got on my nerves.
You had to do work, you never had time off.
Yeah. Overtime right now is kind of the norm right now. I got a lot of officers working 12-hour shifts just to cover. We have a 68-bed facility, 80 if you include our intake, but they can't be in intake past 24 hours. This morning we had 120 inmates. We are housing them in Lee County, Washington County, and Henry County, along with Des Moines County. So, dealing with all that, I might not be in the best mood when I get home. I got 2 kids, I got a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old. As you guys may know, they don't always get along. So when I get home and they argue, I ain't putting up with it. So they kind of get, if I'm come home in a bad mood, they kind of deal with my bad day. You gotta do the best not to take it out on them. Do the best I can, they know. Usually you gotta have a routine. I get home, I go pick up my son, my daughter's already home. I go in my room for about 10-15 minutes, kind of decompress, cause I have dealt with some shit that day. Dealing with mental illness, we deal with inmates that obviously don't know what they're doing, they're combative. You got inmates that don't care, they just wanna run their mouth all day. It's your fault they're there. So dealing with that for an 8-hour day, day in and day out, just kinda takes a toll. This is probably the first week in over a year that we haven't dealt with an inmate that spreads feces all over their walls and windows. So, I mean,
Still got
it's.
a day. Still got a couple days left.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they're actually still our inmate. They're actually in Oakdale right now, where every prisoner goes for classification before they go to prison, and then they get sent to all the other prisons. But these guys have not faced trial yet, so they gotta go to Oakdale, get an mental evaluation, find out if they're competent or not. And if not, they gotta do a restoration. We have been dealing with that a lot since they closed, MHI, and I think that was in Mount Pleasant. Outside of work, running into inmates, you got inmates that are just there to do their time. They leave you alone. You got inmates that wanna run their mouth, it's your fault they're there. You got inmates on the outside that they see you, hey, you know, whatever, buy you a beer when I see you next, or again, they're blaming you for there, so they wanna threaten your life. My wife's been threatened to be raped, my kids have been threatened to be killed, I've been threatened to be killed. Used to live on Madison, mowing my yard on Madison, guy drove by and did the little fake thing. So we have kind of code words for my wife and kids, be at Target, Walmart, see an inmate. If I know there might be trouble, I say that word, they keep walking and act like they don't even know me. Even at work and even on the outside, it's hard to relax, because I mean, your head's on a swivel. I'll go into the jail. Like I said, 68 bed facility. We have an intake area, 4 cells, 2 of them are holding, 2 of them are detox. There's really no difference between the 2, except for 2 have wooden benches, the other 2 have a concrete slab. 3 of them have a phone with no head thing, you gotta put your ear up against it. That you get, when you get arrested, you get 1 phone call home. That's a myth. You know, you can have as many phone calls as you want. You get 2 free ones, otherwise you gotta have a prepaid account and pay for it. We have a female GP unit that holds 12, female max that holds 2, male GP holds 30, male max holds 6, super max 2, special status 2, swing 8, but we have 2 boats in there, little plastic things you put a mattress in, we call them boats, so actually there's 10 in there. Work release holds 8, but then we have 10 in there because we put 2 boats in. The rest are farmed out. Obviously we can hold 68 people in ideal situations. That means everybody gets along. That's not ever gonna happen. Move people up to male GP or male max, I can't be with that guy, can't be with that guy. All of a sudden, fighting female GP, fighting male max, officers go running, gotta separate people. So lockdown times is pretty scarce right now, just because not a lot of people are getting along. So we lock them down quite a bit. I think male GP's out the most, and they're only out 6 hours a day. When I say out, they go into the day room, where there's TVs, telephone, kiosks where you can do, video FaceTime visitations, order their commissary. We offer church services. We have a transition link coordinator who does all like the transitioning back to society, or if they have to go to treatment or substance abuse evaluation, she handles that stuff. Basically, the jail is its own little city in that little building. I could literally talk about one topic of the jail all day, so I'm mainly here, what do you guys wanna know?
Could you tell about the privacy that they have in jails?
Privacy in the jail is there is a sign as soon as you walk in, the privacy is not expected. Males are always housed with males, we never mix units. We don't put a male max unit in the church service with male GP unit. Dealing a lot with transgenders right now. For example, like a male wanting to transition to a female, you can't discriminate, because you gotta kind of not necessarily go with what they identify as if they still have the male parts. So you kind of gotta classify them. Can they go in male GP? Can't go in male GP, because probably be fight, and can't put them in female GP because you gotta keep the females in there safe. So can't go to female GP, can't go to male max, can't put them all there by themselves. Where do you put them? Yeah, exactly, nobody knows. So mainly we kind of throw them in special status. Put them on a 15-minute watch because 9 times out of 10, they're diagnosed with a mental illness and suicidal. Suicide inmates, you are on a 15-minute watch. The entire time you're on suicide watch. And it's not by just camera. We have like iPhone looking things. We can check out razors, we can do secure checks, we can scan your ID card when we hand you a meal. That way you go, hey, you're not feeding me. Bullshit, you took a meal right here. If you are suicidal, we take all your stuff. We don't get anything. No pencils to write home, no bedding, no towels, and you don't even get a uniform. You are in what we call smock. It is a blue pullover dress that you cannot tear. And no socks, no underwear, and you will go to visitation, you'll go to church services, you'll go back to intake if an officer's here to see you in that blue dress.
Can you tell us how it works when they bring a prisoner in? Checking in and everything in the process?
Yeah, officers pull into the salary port, they come in to the intake area, they're still cuffed. It's policy now where arresting agencies used to come in, uncuffed, whatever. We found that sometimes, and it's all human error, I mean, COs miss stuff too, but humans miss stuff in a pat search. So the officers do one on site, so we'll do a secondary one when they get here before they're uncuffed. We have found guns, knives, needles, drugs. One lady had actually a fifth of vodka in her bra, so that was interesting. Once that's done, we'll do, ask them the first kind of medical questions. Need emergency medical attention, because the jail has every right to refuse the inmate. Then the officer has to take them to the hospital, get signed off by the emergency doc. Yeah, they're fit for confinement. They bring it back to the jail, do the mug shots, fingerprints. We use, it's got like 4 names, Motorola or Spillman or Flex. It's our computer system. It's fairly new, had it for about a year. Everybody hates it. They do their arresting agency does their stuff on their side. It tags all their reports and everything to their stuff, and then we bring it over to our stuff, where we do we got their name, their address, their charges, their bond, any sentences that they got, medical questions. Medical questions are anywhere from, have you ever been diagnosed with this, to, does anybody control your mind? there's 8 questions like that actually trigger our medical department to whether you need to be on suicide watch or see mental health. It's actually a state code now where you gotta ask those questions. Depending on what your charges are, depends on what cell you're gonna go into or how cooperative you are. If you're not cooperative, you're not gonna get that phone call. You will be given the phone call within a reasonable amount of time, but if you're threatening officers and all that, you're just gonna calm down a little bit. Sometimes we have to carry them into the intake area if we're just causing problems for the arresting agencies in the car. We've had inmates kick squad car windows out, get out of their handcuffs. Once that's done, you get classified, you go to court the next morning. We have court every morning, whether it's Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day. In Iowa, you have to see a judge within 24 hours. And when I see a judge, we do it by phone now. Judge just calls, say, I'm ready for court. You're on speakerphone with the judge. They used to actually come out, and we had a courtroom, but it's kind of just an empty room now. If they get released, we kick them out, make sure they're fingerprinted on that charge. They stay, they get a chance to make some more phone calls, see if they can bond. We really try and push them to bond just because we don't have any bed space. If not, we gotta classify them, find out what unit they need to be in. If we don't have a bed, we start calling surrounding counties to figure out where we can put them.
You forgot the fun part, the strip search.
Oh, the strip search, those are fun. Yep, a male will always do a male, female will always do a female. Transgenders, kind of a new thing out that we're learning. Kind of ask them, hey, are you transitioning into what? For purposes of a strip search, how do you identify? Who do you want to do the strip search? So it's never really happened to the extent where I had to force a female CO to strip search a biological male. Hasn't done that yet because now my female CO is gonna refuse to do it. So where does that play in? Because now I'm in the discipline process of a CO now for refusing to do an order. So it's a real big mess, real big headache, and I wish it was more, this is what you do, but it's never, there's nothing ever like that. Corrections, there is nothing black and white besides maybe certain policies. It is, you take every situation at hand. Two things, exact same things, may happen back to back, but there's just one thing different, you gotta handle it completely different. Oh, come on, guys, talk.
They're still tired.
I know, me too. I'm not a morning person. When I was your age, I'd still be asleep.
So, what is it that requires a strip search to occur? Is it?
It is, they have simple misdemeanors, serious misdemeanors, aggravated misdemeanors, then you hit the felonies. Anything for serious misdemeanor and above, I can strip search you. And that's our policy that I will strip search you. Serious misdemeanor is, it's actually pretty simple actually. I mean, it's just an OWI, possession of controlled substance.
Assaults with injuries?
Assaults, yeah. Simple misdemeanors, I can strip search you if the arresting officer has probable cause that you have something, or if you see the judge in the morning and you stay and I had to put you in a unit, then I can strip search you. I have found weird stuff in the strip search. Obviously we find drugs taped, bottom feet, you gotta have the males lift up their sack. Found drugs taped up there. You gotta have them spread, it's a good time. Have them bend over, spread their cheeks, where I found 36 cents fall down out of a guy's butt. Guy I actually went to high school with, so that was odd. I'm telling you, I've seen stuff that you guys can make up.
The weird thing is he started out with 50 cents.
Yes, true, she's still up there. So, like, I see something new every day. And it's, you got inmates that are very smart, come in, just do their time, treat you with respect, you treat them. And then you get ones that literally are the definition of why we have warning labels. Like, don't eat a Tide Pod. No kidding, but it ranges. We are always open, 365 days. Come on, guys, I already went through your stuff, now you gotta have.
What's the starting salary under?
Oh, it actually just went up, full-time starts at, I think it's like 49,000 a year. But with the insurance, the county pays for 93% of it, so hardly ever pay anything for that insurance, so. You gotta include that, and that's like an additional 22,000 a year that you don't have to pay.
It's good money.
It is good money.
You can start that right out of high school, correct?
Gotta have a high school diploma and no background.
Yeah, be squeaky clean, or you gotta do it.
Nah, you don't have to be squeaky clean, but can't be like, hey, I was arrested last year for certain stuff. To go back to my outside work, kinda to separate work from home. A lot of CEOs have second jobs just to do something different. I'm on the snowball board, indoor rodeo in March every year down at the auditorium, volunteer for that. I help coach softball for the Mud Dogs. I've helped coach baseball for the Mud Dogs. And then realized that baseball sucks compared to softball, so, well, my son didn't wanna do it anymore anyway, so I don't do baseball anymore. I still do 14U softball.
What's the hiring process?
You apply online or print the app off online. We don't do electronic submits. Once I get your app, I'll do the background check, and then we'll call you in for an interview. And once that's done, and you pass the interview, I will call you and you will do what we call an impulse test, but it used to be called the MMPI. It is a 567 question test, multiple choice. It is nothing to study for. It is, they'll read a sentence and you pick an answer that most applies to you. Like, it used to be like, do you like motorcycle magazines? True or false? You answer all those questions, it gets graded. They can tell me your personality with that test. And last couple hires, they've been spot on by even telling me this person will call in sick a lot, this person's aggressive, this person's passive. So we do that, we'll look at that, and we're like, nah, we're not, pass on you or move to the next step. Then you do a fit for duty test at the hospital and a drug screen. It is not the 1.5 mile push-up stuff for like a certified deputy or cop. It's just kind of mirrored towards walking. We do a lot of walking. We have to be in every unit at least once within the hour. We'll do stairs, do weight things for pulling up the hallway cell doors, or like 35 pounds of pressure to open one of our doors. Just you pass that, and then we'll get you a start date. So there is no academy. You do a minimum of 200, I think it's 200, we moved it to 250, I think. 250 hours with another full-time officer before you're on your own. We have,
You still go to jail school?
you have to do a 40-hour jail school, but you just have to do that within 1 year of being hired. And then every year after that, it's an annual 20-hour research classes. You train in every position. It's not like prison where like you get hired for the yard, you work the yard, you work cell block A, you're always in cell block A. We have 4 positions. We have a housing officer, who does all the meal passes, the hourly checks, takes them to church, takes them back to intake if they have to go to court. We have Rover, who helps housing do everything on a daily duty, routine, but they're the ones that are actually in charge of handing out med pass. We do med pass at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. We have control room, who answers all the phones, listens to all the radio traffic, opens up all the doors, answers all the inmate intercoms, because there's an intercom in every cell. Supposed to be for emergencies only, but they don't. They just call them, ask what time it is, because they got nothing else to do. And then we have intake, who does all the strip searches, classifications, bookends, mugshots, fingerprints. So you do 3 days of one position, 3 days of the next, and 3 days off, and then it just rotates.
Which do you think is the hardest position?
I hate control, because you're stuck up there. We have somebody in control 24 hours a day. You cannot leave until you're relieved. A lot of multitasking. You gotta be answering the person's questions on the phone while looking something on the computer, and then an officer is calling doors, or an officer yells fight in the unit, you gotta drop what you're doing, radio, fight in the unit, and open all the doors in a hurry, because you got officers running to that unit to stop it. We do everything in-house. Obviously, if it's severe, we call in help for PD or deputies. We have internal citations, sanctions we can suspend their commissary, we can suspend their phone privileges, we can lock them down 23 hours a day for rule violations. We can actually, for certain stuff, you can actually pick up more criminal charges while you're in jail. So if you have possession of drugs up in a unit, possession of meds, a weapon, you assault somebody, you're gonna get criminally charged.
What is it that you look for in a correctional officer when you're hiring somebody?
Somebody with communication skills, so not like me. I am not a public speaker. I'm just the lucky one that gets picked by Ryan to come out here.
Hey, you're the boss, you can sign that.
I know, gets me a break from out there. Somebody comes to work every day, and somebody that can deal with stress. If you cannot deal with stress, corrections is not for you. I have had vomit thrown at me, feces thrown at me, you're cleaning up feces. Normally, we make the inmate clean up their feces if they're spreading it all themselves. But now with dealing with all these mental health, I'm not gonna give this individual a mop. So when they get moved out, we will go in there and clean. The older I get, the more I can't stand the smell. So now I gotta get like the COVID mask and put Vicks underneath my nose, and yeah, it's bad. We had a female that me and Sergeant Whalen went in, and she wasn't doing what she was told. We had to lift her up, put her in a wheelchair, and put her on a transport to Oakdale. And like, oh, it smelled like, poop, but it didn't bother me until I lifted up her suicide blanket and I saw it like a baby shitting up the back of the diaper. And something in my head just correlated the smell to that, and I'm like, so I started throwing up in the female max shower. It's just, yeah, it's bad. So you guys are all applying, right? And I've made it seem so awesome. You are, I know you are.
What is like the food menu like?
The
in the
food
jail?
menu. It's actually not bad. COs cannot leave. Once they're there at work, they're there. They can't leave county property. So if you don't bring something to eat, you gotta eat what the inmates eat. So they try to make it not horrible. It's pretty much exactly like school food. We have the Crispitos, the pizza. Except for Mondays, we serve one hot meal a day. That's it. That's all I'm required to do by state law. For breakfast every day, they get like a Pop-Tart, a Nutri-Grain bar, and a thing of milk. For lunch is the hot meal, and that rotates, like Crispitos, pizza, chicken and noodles, beef and noodles. Don't eat the beef and noodles. But every Monday, they get hot dogs. Every Thursday, they get beans and weenies. And every Friday, they get chicken patty. So we have the cheeseburgers and all that on every other day. Every night for supper, they get 2 bologna sandwiches, a bag of chips, and like an apple or something. I could not eat bologna. I tell my wife I can't even buy it. It's not even the good bologna like Oscar Mayer. It's like the slab thing. It's like slimy. It's good, but I've had it for 20 years. I can't do it anymore.
It used to be really good out there.
It used to be like when I was on second shift, even back in like '04 and even '06 when I came full time. Second shift was where you wanted to be on because you had good food. You had fried chicken, mashed potatoes and gravy.
I used to start
There.
advertising.
Yeah. Cops come out and steal our food. But with everything getting more expensive and budgets and spending money on everything else, we've had to slim down. We have to have a 2,400 calorie a day diet, and all our meals have to be certified by a state licensed dietitian. They are. But it also comes down to we have to make sure that we have money for that, and then everything else that it's, you don't like the food, don't come to jail. Bond out. Kind of simple as that.
How often do assaults occur on staff?
Goes in spurts. A lot of times it's inmate on inmate. A lot of times it's like a Friday night, we got an intoxicated person come in and they're fighting, come in and they scratch one of us or something. We have had 2 significant attacks on officers. We had 3 people convicted of murder in our male max unit. This was before our current lockout schedule. And they were mad at one CO, but attacked another one. And then when I kind of held him hostage, but he got out. And then when I got there, he was laying on the floor with paramedics, and I couldn't even right guy. We had another one in our intake area where the officer opened the door to get one inmate out to go get him fingerprinted, and the other guy, just calm, cool, and collected, started asking the question. He's answering out the door and then just started meleeing on him. Both COs. One CO came back, then quit, and the other one said, screw it. Which, I'm 20 years in and 14 away from retirement, so I'm coming back, but I do not blame him. Great thing about that is that working out there is the camaraderie that you build. When I was a sergeant, I was on a 12-hour shift, and then with the staff that I worked with, I was with them the exact same amount of time I was with my wife and kids. So I knew these guys, their tendencies, their family, their kids' names, you go to the birthday parties. Sergeant Jeffries that has been here with me before, his kids call me uncle, so that's a great part about it.
You develop a whole different family you never had.
Some you like, some you don't, just like everything else. Yeah. What else you wanna know? Priceline, what do you wanna know?
Bryson, this is your chance to ask me anything.
We have held driving under suspension or no driver's license, all the way to murder. You probably know the year, 2005, 2006, Burlington was the murder capital of the world,
Yep.
per capita.
That was a good year.
That was a good year. That was like Darrell Washington's and all that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sammy Clayton.
Yep. That was
say great things about it, I can complain about it. It's just kind of how the field is. I'll have my mother-in-law or father-in-law read an article in the paper that a guy wanted for murder in Burlington is now in Des Moines County Jail. So come to me like, hey, did you see we got that guy? Do you not know what I did? Is my job as an assistant jail administrator, I handle all logistics. I don't know, or there's not an inmate that leaves that building or comes in that I don't know about. So all the high-risk transports, even down to high-risk, jury trials that either I'm not involved in or I don't have a hand in. So then when those attacks happened, my father-in-law was like, well, why was he in there with the inmate anyway? I'm like, it's not where you go up to the door and like, hey, you know, behave. It's correctional officer, you're in there with the inmates. I've shaken hands many a time, stood here, just had a conversation with several people that murdered somebody. Do the same thing with somebody that's, I'm just here for not having a driver's license. But, and yes, you can get arrested for not having a driver's license. It's rare, but it happens.
There's circumstances.
There are circumstances.
For the most part, would you say most inmates are cooperative, or?
Yeah, most of them just wanna do their time and get out. A lot of them just wanna hurry up their county time and go to prison. If you ask any inmate, they all say they don't wanna go to prison, but, county jail time is way harder than prison. Prison, you get PlayStations, you get more time out, you can do whatever. But jail time, you're doing what you're told, when you're told, and how you're told. And if you don't wanna play by the rules, we'll take privileges away.
Can you go to work while you're in jail?
If you are sentenced and the judge says work release, yes, we can let you go out to work and you come back. Every time you go in and out of the facility, you're strip searched. Every morning, put you in what we call the change room, where you get showers and stuff, go to the unit, put your work clothes in, we'll walk you out. You come back, as soon as you get off work, we'll strip search you again, put you in a jail uniform, and back to you. It does cost to be in jail. If you get medical debt while you're in there, Advil, Tylenol, every time you take it, it's $1. You want meds, your prescription, $5 a month for a prescription. You see a nurse, see a doctor, $3 every time you see him. $50 a day for every day you're in there, as long as you're sentenced and convicted. If you wanna go out to work, it's $20 a day every time you go out to work. But that comes off that $50 a day. $1 a day for, or time in Advil, but $5 for a prescription or $3 to go see the nurse is a lot cheaper than what I'm seeing when I go to the doctor. And it's still, I shouldn't have to pay for and I shouldn't have to do it. It's an everyday fight.
So when they call somebody, is that recorded?
Mm-hmm.
When they call somebody, is that recorded?
Yes, all the phones are recorded, unless it's an attorney you're calling. All video, FaceTime visits are recorded. All text messages that you can send out are recorded. And they are kept for a lifetime. So if you haven't been in jail for 10 years, I can still watch your business.
What's our cable?
We have one.
We
have two.
How's mail handled up there?
Mail, that's actually changing. Right now, legal mail we can't touch or open. We can make you open it in front of us, because actually people are trying to get sneaky and make it look like legal mail when it's not. It used to be where you open it up in control, we log it, we read it, we put it back in the envelope, hand it to you later. Now it is logged, read, and scanned, and the original's put in your property and you have to read your letter on the kiosk. That's with every single person and every bit of mail. A reason for it is, ever heard of K2? Like synthetic marijuana or whatever. They'll soak paper in it, let it dry, and then write on it, or send it in, and then you can tear off pieces of it, eat it, and be high, like beyond high. Single sheet of paper can make an inmate, by selling it for commissary, or hey, put money on my bucks for this. Single sheet of paper can bring an inmate roughly $3,000 to $5,000. So we don't hand any prison systems do the same thing. We do not have an outdoor yard. We have if you want to go to exercise, it's probably about this size. We can open up a garage window if the temperature's right. Otherwise, you just walk around. Inmates, anything like supplies, weights, all that stuff can be bought with their commissary funds, but they ruin it all. And we've tried everything. We've tried like the sand water bags for weights, they ruin them. We've tried Nerf balls, they slice them and try to pass notes between them. We've tried basketballs, and they got a basketball hoop in there, but we gotta take it back out. They'll throw it up and break the ceiling tiles. I don't know why they put a drop ceiling in the gym, but I mean, it's like 20 feet in the air, but still. So we'll charge them criminal charge for that. And so now they don't get to do anything besides walk around, run, or do push-ups. Can't take anything into the gym, not a cup of water, not, I mean, you can take your radio. If you wanna, we have TV in every unit. If you actually wanna hear their TV, you gotta buy a radio off concert. It used to be where, especially male GP, this group be playing cards, talking too loud, turn the TV up. So now you can hear the TV. Now they talk louder, turn the TV up. And then fights happen, so we took that TV and all the chairs and everything out. We put like metal benches in there, flat screens on the wall in every unit, and you either read the subtitles or buy a radio. They're expensive and cheap at the same time. Yeah, they could have like Nautilus weight system in there, free weights. They could have anything. It's just that one person can ruin it for everybody.
So it sounds like there's a lot more restrictions in the jail than this prison.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yep.
Is there good behavior in jail?
There is good behavior. For an associate court judge, like, I don't even know how the misdemeanor judges, they get sentenced to jail time. I can automatically give them 10% good time if they're following the rules. They get citations, and so many citations, I can take percentage off the good time. District court with the upper courts, maybe aggravated misdemeanors or felonies, they have to write the judge for it. Usually you only get 10%. It is better in prison. But a lot of people want to go to prison because you're actually out sooner. You can only you can only be convicted and served up to 364 days in jail. You can be there longer if you're waiting trial and all that, but it's very rare that even happens. But you can get sentenced to 5 years in prison, and with good time, jail credit, you're probably paroled and released in 8 months. That's because of overcrowding. And so a lot of now, the reason I think our head count's so high is judges are onto it, which DOC really can't do anything about it, but they're just starting to, you're gonna do a year in jail, which will seem like 5 years in prison.
Yes, it will.
Because the only time you'll see outside is through the window in GP or through a transport car window when I take you to court.
Guys, you have any questions for him? Anything you have short staffed right now, you said?
We are actually, one is quitting November 4th, because I got to step away. So that one is filled with our part-timer that's gonna move up. We actually are down one, she's out on medical. So I don't know if she's coming back or not.
So, there you go, that job you got. Alright guys, do we have anything else? No, let's give it up for 'em. Now, tomorrow you guys are gonna get the other